So I'd like to talk to you about planes. Planes are very important. If you could imagine that no matter where you're standing, there's a box around you at all times, okay? Like the mimes, for instance, when they do the invisible wall. This is exactly how we're spinning, and if you think about it, it's a lot like an artist with this canvas. Let me see, I don't have a piece of paper on me right now, but if an artist was painting a picture and wanted to show you on the canvas, if his canvas was pointed this direction, you would only see part of what he's doing or what he's drawing. You wouldn't actually get the full effect. You'd actually say, hey, can you turn that around for me so I can see it? And then he would scoot it over here so you could see a very flat representation of what he's showing you. Well, when you're spinning, you have to think in terms of like that. Like what you're doing is you're creating an art, or you're creating like this motion that if you're turned even a little bit off to the side, it has a different effect. And here's a perfect example. If I do this, yes, you can kind of see two circles, but if I go here, you can see my arms are making two circles quite easily. So, depending on where you're facing will also create this, this imagery that people will notice. It's very kind of interesting because there are some props that are much more easier if you're surrounded by people around you, like nunchucks, for instance, because it's so tight and redirectable, you can get away with it a little bit more. But there's other props where you lose a lot of the effect if your planes are off or if someone is watching you at a little bit of an off angle. So, with any case, where there's the most people, for instance, right now it's the camera, I'm going to imagine that between me and the camera is a straight line. And in this straight line, I create a perpendicular wall in front of me. So, with poi, for instance, this would be, you would see a circle, right? But let me show you something. If I spin it this way, you wouldn't see the circle so easily. Your mind doesn't draw circles like that. It looks actually more kind of like a line, but it's the exact same move, I just changed the plane. It's kind of the same idea here. If I'm standing or wherever the most of the crowd is, I'm going to look forward, I'm going to create this perpendicular line right in front of me. And then this line that's in front of me is going to be the invisible wall that I spin against. No matter what prop I'm using, I'm going to be spinning against this invisible wall. Now, of course, all rules can be broken, so you can break that rule. But use that as a foundation for all your spinning when you first start, and then later on, as you get really good, go ahead and break it. I encourage you to break every rule that you've been taught, every rule that I've taught you, everything that you think you know. If you need to explore it, you explore it and you share it with us so we can grow. So, we have a wall here. A lot of times they call it the wall plane. Okay? We also have walls to the side. And this is called the wheel plane, I believe. And if you think of it like this, it's like wheels on a car. Like if you're driving a car, these would be the direction that the wheels would spin, right? They'd be going forward and backwards. It would take you forwards and backwards. Now keep in mind, they're still making the same circles, but just remember the wheel plane is this direction. The wall plane is this direction. And of course there's a back plane where they're all behind you as well. And then I think they call the other one like a ceiling or a floor plane, which is where it's kind of going horizontally. You have a lot of options because if you think about planes, if I take the same circle, this looks like a circle, this looks like a sideways line, this looks like a vertical line, and then this looks like a circle, but the body is covering it up, so it actually can create like a different effect. As I spin it in front to behind, for instance, since my body covers up the back, there's a lot of like really interesting combinations that we can do. Just because the body obscures it, it creates a different effect. Like if I pull it over this direction, it creates a different effect because the poi disappears for a while and comes out in the front. Then if I just did this one, which is also another effect because it's coming through the front, then it disappears behind my back and back to the front. So if you want to create interest, I always like to, eventually incorporate the things that move through the back or through the body or through the arms or through the legs, because when you can obscure your prop a little bit, it just creates a little bit more of a mysterious imagery, is what I can say. But definitely work your planes. And anytime you learn a new move, you should try it on all of those. You can try it horizontally. Can I do it vertically? Can I do it to the side? Can I do it like a wheel? Can I do it behind my back? And if you want to practice on a wall. Wall training is always big in my book. So if I want to practice wheel, I'll stand sideways against the wall and I'll spin my prop that direction. You're going to notice as your arm goes in different points across, this plane, you have to adjust. So even if you know how to do the move in front of you, the moment you extend your arm, the moment you extend that arm, you're going to actually have to adjust it a little bit differently. You have to spin a little bit differently when your arm's out here than when it's over here. And this is why I want you to practice all these different angles, up, down, extended, because it's going to give you a whole lot more versatility than if you kept everything in the center.